Friday here with FutureDDS, and welcome to the finale of our DAT series. If you haven't had a chance to check out our other videos, the links to those videos are going to be down in the description. Make sure you give yourself a minute and go ahead and check those out. We've all been through it. Everyone in dental school has taken the DAT. So what we've done at FutureDDS is put together this collection of videos, this series of videos, to give you guys different tips and strategies that you guys can implement and make your DAT experience that much easier. Hopefully these tips and tricks are as beneficial to you as they were for us when we were preparing for our DAT.
So bio, I got a 30. So what I did for that was I used Cliff Notes. I used Ferralis notes from Student.Network, DAT Bootcamp, DAT Destroyer, DAT QVault. What else did I use? And like one exam from DAT Genius, the ADA 2009 exam, and just a bunch of random YouTube channels. So for bio, I think the best way to go about it is utilize a lot of resources. Don't just stick to one or two, because it's the key is at breadth instead of depth, because the exam doesn't really go in depth. It stays on the surface. It just has, the reason why it's hard is because it covers a huge variety of topics. So yeah, my advice for that is utilize various resources. What else? And make sure you make index cards for stuff you get wrong. Like I made note of all the stuff I got wrong on Bootcamp and Destroyer, separate like a deck of index cards, and that really helped out. If you just go through it a couple times, it'll stick with you. So that way, you know everything that you got wrong and you're not missing anything out, right? So when you go through Destroyer, like first time, make sure you take it down, and the second time you'll take it down again. Take down the ones, like new ones. Speaking of wrong answers, make sure you go over the correct answers as well, because a lot of times when you get an answer correct, you might have just gotten it correct because you kind of half knew it and kind of took an educated guess, or maybe you knew it but you don't know every single choice that well. So make sure you know every single choice, every single option for each question by heart. Like know each question 110%. If you know it just like 80%, make sure you go over it even if you got it correct.
So I decided to show you my setup for PAT and also for reading comprehension. I'm not sure if everyone is allowed to do the setup during the first 15 minutes of the DAT, so I would call your testing center to make sure if you want to be prepared. I actually found it on someone's breakdown. I can't remember who it is, but it was someone who scored really high. So if I find out who it is, I'll mention in the description below to give them credit for this, because this method definitely helped me. I liked it a lot more than Search and Destroy, because it involved more structure, and I liked it more than Kaplan's method as well. So on the PAT, I use tic-tac method for the hole punching. I use tallying method for the cube counting. And this is actually a really good method, I think. And sometimes I like to put just a couple rows of the answer choices. So just in case I have a problem with a keyhole question or a pattern folding question, I can go back and look at the answer choices I'd marked out or the ones I'd narrowed down. So you don't have to waste your time, because on the real DAT, they won't let you digitally mark out the questions that you've already eliminated. You just either have to remember them or just do this. And sometimes the question choices or the answer choices are very similar, so you might go back after you've finished the whole section, the PAT section, you might go back to your marked questions and forget which ones you'd already narrowed down. So this saves you some time if you're running short. Okay, for reading comprehension, I would number the paper from 1 to 50. And then instead of doing Kaplan's passage mapping, I would almost do some like question mapping. So let's say for example, the question was, where can you find Helicobacter pylori? Or where's the location of the bacteria Helicobacter pylori? For that question, I would just put Helicobact and then put loc or location. And as I was reading the passage, because this method, I would actually read the passage. So as I was reading the passage and I came across the answer, I would skip all the way to number 1, or whatever question it was, or I'd put the paragraph number where the answer is located next to the number. Say if you were on number 18 and you didn't really want to skip all the way back to number 1 because that would require too much time for you to just click away, then just go ahead and write that paragraph number there. So then later on you can just review and just check back when the answer is at. So that saves you some time. Otherwise, you would just never answer the questions in time or in order, which is what I did. I just never answer the questions in complete order.
What you're going to need is either some sort of phone, or I use my iPod Touch or maybe an iPad, something that has the option to read selected text out loud. And I'm sure there's other ways to do it. This is just the way I found to do it. So I used my iPod and I went to settings, went to general, and you're going to go to, yeah, no, it's busted up. Go to accessibility. And there's an option to speak selection. You're going to want to make sure that's turned on. So keep that on. And what you have to do next is get your notes. So I went to predds.net and went to, it's a great website, some great notes. Go to DAT guide, DAT notes, and I use the Cliff AP Biology notes. Now to get these text notes, you're going to need to Control S to make it into, I guess, a PDF. And then I just Control A to highlight it all and Control C to copy it all. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to need to copy it into either email or I just emailed it to myself. I found that to be the easiest thing to do, and then use the email app on my iPod to open it. But once you've done that, you're going to have to highlight all the email again in the text and copy it. And then I just went, personally, I went to the notes section. Just add a new note. And all those notes that you copied and then emailed to yourself and then copied again on your iPod, you're going to paste. And here they are right here. I personally split mine into 3 parts. If I could go back, I'd probably split it into 4, just because it's a lot of notes to read all at one time. And it's easy to lose focus while you're looking at it. So just highlight one thing and hit select all. And wait a minute. And the speak button should pop up.
Water. Hydrolysis. Addition of H2O to break it apart. Dehydrationer. Removal of H2O to form a bond. Carbohydrates.
I found it really helpful, especially after I'd already looked at the notes. Just hearing them over and over as I did stuff really helped me lock the information in.
Hey everyone, it's Ari from DAT Bootcamp. Today I'm going to teach you about the pattern folding section on the PAT portion of the DAT exam. The pattern folding portion of the exam presents a 2-dimensional image and requires you to fold that image into the plane of the paper. This is pretty important. You have to fold this image into the plane of the paper and determine which of these shapes emerges from that portion. This is probably one of the most challenging sections of this exam. But it's actually relatively easy to beat. You have to understand that you have to focus in on specific parts of the question. When I started doing this section, I always started out by trying to imagine this whole thing folding into my head and rotating it around until I got the correct answer, which is practically impossible, I guess, unless you're a genius. what you gotta do is you have to focus in on a specific part of the question and match it up to the answer choices. Always go to the answer choices and see what can be eliminated. So let's start off with A, for example. In answer choice A, you can see that this piece does not exist anywhere in the question. Right after that, you can tell answer choice A must be wrong. This piece does not exist anywhere here in any of these shapes. Let's move on to answer choice B. This piece right here does not exist in any part of the question. Answer choice B is wrong. Let's move on to C. This piece does not exist anywhere in the question. Answer choice C must be wrong. Just like that, we already answered this question in less than 20 seconds, and we know that answer choice D must be the correct answer. We can also see that certain pieces of answer choice D match up very nicely, such as this piece matches up with, well, that actually matches up with two pieces, so it could have been a more challenging problem. Here's the other piece right here. And that's all it takes. You gotta focus in on a specific part of the question and eliminate the answer choices. It's pretty easy for the questions that don't have any sort of patterns or shades to them. All you have to do is compare the shapes given in the question and compare it to the shapes given in the answer choices.
To solve this cube counting question, first tally up each cube based on the number of sides that are exposed. We will start from the left to the right, moving up and then backwards. First, start with this cube. This cube has its front, left, and right sides exposed. The cube above it has its front, left, right, and top side exposed. Now move back. This column has two cubes in it. One is at this bottom level, and it is exposed only on its front and left sides, so 2. This cube is exposed on its front, left, and top sides, so 3. Now move over to this column of cubes. This cube is only exposed on its right side. This cube is exposed on its right and top side. Now move back. This cube has a cube underneath it that is exposed only on the left and the back side. This cube that is visible is exposed on the left, back, and top side. Now move over. This cube has a cube underneath that is not exposed on any of its sides, so 0. This cube is exposed on its top side only. Now moving over, this column of cubes does not have another column behind it. Because we cannot see a visible column behind this tall column here, we will assume that no cubes exist behind this column of cubes. So this cube and the one below it will actually be exposed on their back sides. So this cube at the bottom is exposed on the front and the back, 2. And this cube is exposed on the front, the top, and the back, 3. Now that we have the cubes tallied up, count the number of cubes and the number of tallies. These numbers should match up, otherwise your answers will be wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Finally, we can answer the questions. How many cubes have 2 of their exposed sides painted? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes. The answer is D. How many cubes have 3 of their exposed sides painted? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cubes. The answer is C. How many cubes have 4 of their exposed sides painted? 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes. The answer is B. This method allows you to quickly answer all cube counting questions that correspond to a single figure, without counting the cubes over and over again.
And that's going to wrap up our video. Hopefully these tips and strategies were as beneficial for you as they were for us when we were studying for the DAT. Make sure you stay tuned to the end and check out our bonus tip, which is actually here at FutureDDS is one of our personal favorites. Let us know what your favorite DAT tip or strategy was from the list. And of course, if we forgot about your favorite tip or strategy that you used while you were studying, make sure you add it down to the comments below. You remember how it was. You had to deal with classes, the DAT, and of course the upcoming application cycle. So make sure you're doing everything that you can to help those taking their DAT right now. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning into this video, and of course thank you guys for being a part of this DAT series with us. Best of luck on your DAT, and never give up on your dream of becoming a future DDS.
Test, I started timing myself for less time. I started at the regular 60 minutes, and then I shortened it to 55 minutes, and then the 50 minutes. So that's probably the reason why I had a lot of time left over, because I'd almost trained myself to prepare for less time.